Today's AskReddit post: what's an industry secret in the field you work in? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. Auto insurance agent. Please, for the love of God, don't tell auto insurance agents more than you have to. They ask you a question. Just say yes or no and answer the question as straight as you can. If you go on and on about your life story, you'll probably end up saying something you don't have to and making your rate higher, or getting yourself declined. We want to get you that policy as cheap as possible. Only tell us what we need to know and don't say anything else. Edit. For some reason I have people in the comments accusing me of enabling fraud now. Fraud sucks and is dumb. Don't lie with your answers. I will reiterate to be upfront and honest when answering the questions they ask you. Just don't go off on tangents and say unrelated shit. As an auto insurance claims adjuster, I second this. And by coverage that protects you, you get what you pay for. 10k property damage liability doesn't cover shit anymore. 10k property damage liability. I'm shocked anyone is selling or buying coverage is that low. That's basically the same as being uninsured. That's state minimum in a lot of jurisdictions. If it's the cheapest legally allowable plans, there'll always be a market for it. Keep in mind that insurers carry very little liability for their own underinsured customers. In Microsoft Office, Word specifically, you can upload recorded interviews and it will transcribe it and ever have speaker 1 and speaker 2, 3 and 4. Basically, eliminating a huge annoying part of the job. Why? But how? Go to home, dictate drop down, transcribe, select upload audio, choose an audio file from the file picker. Transcribe currently supports WAV, MP4, M4A, MP3 formats. This is amazing. Knowing how to research the answer to a question is at least as or even more useful than knowing the answer to begin with. I made a living in IT for a decade with that mindset. I don't know any programming languages, but I know how to translate. It's worked so far. I'm the receptionist for an IT company. Being able to translate the whole system has gone kafooey to steps like, are there any error messages? And what were you doing when this happened? Is a pretty needed skill. Note if you are not tech savvy and your computer has an error code, take a picture with your phone or write it down. It's extremely helpful. If you don't have tech help on standby, you can often Google it and see what the problem is. Before that I worked phones at a hardware store. It's surprisingly similar advice. Take pictures, especially any codes on hardware pieces. I'm a dentist. Here's the lowdown on toothpaste. As long as it has fluoride they are all basically the same. When I was in dental school the Colgate lady came by and said that everything that says Colgate Total on it is all exactly the same. The only difference is the packaging. So whether it says whitening, or gum protection, or whatever else, it is all exactly the same. The exception is sensitivity. Toothpaste typically does have an extra active ingredient, No3, which helps with sensitivity. Don't ever feel obligated to buy the expensive toothpaste because you think it will be better for your teeth. Just buy whatever you like best. But the toothpaste I buy at the dentist, Clinpro, is different. Correct? Yes. Clinpro, a prescription toothpaste, has a higher percentage of fluoride which makes it better for people who tend to get cavities. They told me Clinpro has some ingredient in it that helps strengthen teeth or something. It's so expensive I put a very small amount on my toothbrush. Does that defeat the purpose? My sister, who was a dentist assistant before she became an RN, told me all you need is a tiny dab, like a little droplet, is enough. Most people use way too much toothpaste due to what they see in commercials and the like. But that is designed that way to make you use more toothpaste so you have to buy it more often. It's all a mind game to scam you out of your money. Library worker here. The majority of donations we receive do not end up in circulation on our shelves. No matter how much you demand, we put them there once they're donated. The reason why this is because we only add items to the collection that we think will circulate, be checked out. Most libraries get funding based off of statistics. We don't want to waste shelf space on items that PR aren't checking out, as it won't improve our stats. So, Unless the donated items are brand new or by popular authors, we will not add them to the collection. We will also weed unpopular items from our collection with extreme prejudice for this reason. Much to our patrons' horror, these books usually end up being sold at book sales to help generate funding for other library programs. Dude, I love the local library's annual book sale. They do it 4th of July weekend, as this is a touristy area, and it's like a 50 cents for paperbacks and $1 for hardcover. Sad as I am that they aren't doing it this year, I am pretty excited because that means it'll be huge next year. This kind of wistfulness for a book sale is the most wholesome thing I've read today. There's a used textbook store in my town, and the first time I went I was overjoyed. My mom has a pic of me sitting on the ground and reading the spines, and it's her favorite picture of me. As a beginner counselor, I worked with a lot of children and adolescents. Consistently the discussion with my colleagues was how it was the parents who were the biggest problem and the kids were just adapting to a crazy environment. Oftentimes I wonder how a patient got to be a certain way, and then I meet their parents. My psychiatrist. Word. I see a therapist every other week, and basically he says that my parents did a decent job, but ducked things up about 20% of the time. A lot of librarians will waive your fines if you have an excuse and you don't ask too frequently, even large fines. Also, librarians don't care about your fines and aren't judging you. Please come back. We personally have more fines than you. Librarians are always overdue with their books. Edit. I wrote this before going to bed and it exploded overnight. Thank you, kind strangers, for the awards. I'm touched. All your fines are waived for life. Also, small grammar edit BC, I was nodding off when I wrote this originally. I don't know if you're from US, but I'm new to US. Everything rent, banks, car rentals, universities etc seems to want to overcharge and drench the last cent out of you for minor forgivable reasons. Except for libraries. I was late on a book, a few days, wasn't charged. I love the libraries and the library system. They also try their best to get you a book from other locations, and librarians are generally kind and polite. Library cards are free. You enter a library and nobody judges you etc for anything. They also recommend not to get our research published with predatory journals etc. You are awesome. The world is in debt of your services. Seriously, support your local library. They do so much good on a budget of peanuts. It's insane. Those book transfers between libraries are not cheap. Fuel costs money. Former industry, commercial radio. It's never caller 5. It's the caller who sounds best on air. I won something on the radio once. The lady DJ called me back on a few minutes. She forgot to record the call. She told me to act excited. It was hilarious. She blamed it on being pregnant. Said she had lost her mind. Not an industry I work in per se, but I used to be in a sales role. One of my customers was a milk bottling plant. I was somewhat surprised that they were putting the exact same milk in both organic and non-organic cartons. Turns out all of their milk is organic. But in order to not miss out on the sales of non-organic milk, they just bottle them differently and sell them at different prices. This one is both startling and interesting. It's efficient that way. You have the ability to legally sell the same product for different amounts. One of those products is essentially pure profit. Not having the requirements doesn't mean that you don't have the benefits. If you order a pizza but like to choose your own toppings, it's often cheaper to choose an existing pizza like a meat supreme or something with loads of toppings, then swap out all the toppings for ones you want, than to go for the create your own option in the menu. Note, this is much less awkward if you order online than on the phone. There's a certain pizza chain website that I discovered will let you apply coupons on pizzas that aren't covered by the coupon. If you mess with it a bit, you can stack coupons, sub out ingredients and get your order down to about 50-60% of the original price even if you don't have coupons that cover what you've actually ordered. Then pay online and pick up in person. I doubt a human ever actually checks your total in the process. Edit. Dear God, what have I done? It is a regional chain. I think the takeaway from this thread is that many online systems have poor coupon stacking logic and the workers DGAF. Be sure to tip them on the full price as a thank you. A lot of successful artists at a certain level of success do nothing more than create a concept and employ several assistants, who are either current or graduating art students, who actually make the art itself, its reproductions or both. Edit. I know this is old news in the art industry and academy, but outside of it I found it very hard to explain my job to people. I do believe that films also romanticize this field and warp what a lot of outsiders think it actually is. Can 100% vouch for this. I make about the salary of a teacher, less, creating artwork every day for a recognized contemporary sculptor, who then picks up the work from me at the studio, and then sells what I made for hundreds of thousands. But hey man, his idea, Endo Rhino RMS. TBH they wouldn't buy it unless it had some stupid name attached to it that they recognize instead of actually appreciating art. This is what makes it hard for me to care about art in general. It's like wine. Everyone's talking out their ass 24/7 and pretending to be experts. You'd be surprised how willingly someone will do their job and even go above and beyond if you just compliment them for their professionalism, politeness and how they are helping them. Edit. Thank you all. As a cashier, I am not even ashamed to admit that I will do more for you if you tell me I'm being helpful. Firefighters are trained on several areas and can specialize deeper into certain disciplines. Most of the emergencies we get called to are situations we have never been trained on. But with 4 of us on a fire truck we can normally figure out a solution. In my county, a girl got stuck in a clothes washer. I wasn't on the call, but there's a video of it online. I remember doing car extrication in the academy, but not washer extrication. Oh step firefighter bro. Construction boy here. If your windows or sliding doors are tough to open and close, 9 times out of 10, we put your own dish soap on tracks and the thing works perfectly. It take 5 minutes and we charge 150. Dish soap people, it's better than WD-40 sometimes. Literally not 5 minutes ago I was closing the slider in my bedroom thinking it's time I finally look up solutions to make this thing glide easier. So I hopped on the internet, naturally got distracted by Reddit first, and now here we are. So serendipitous. As a former Tsar worker, airport security is a lot of theater. Tsar's constantly failing plainclothes inspections. I worked with a guy who got fired because someone showed him an ad with a picture of Mickey Mouse on it and he let the person through because he wasn't paying attention. Color me completely unsurprised. Actually, I'm pretty surprised that the guy got fired at all. Used to screen resumes for small companies. Job requirements are more of a wish list situation. Never let some unchecked boxes deter you from applying. You have no idea what the applicant pool is like. The biggest boon, especially at small companies, is someone who legitimately cares. Literally got a job last week that I was unqualified for. I said, "Duck it. I'm running out of places to apply. Let's give it a shot." Couple days later they replied, "Set up an interview, and I somehow have a job tomorrow morning during a pandemic. Just go for it. Can't hurt you." Weight loss industry. This might be obvious, but most of our business comes from return clients after they've gained their weight back, and then some. To be clear, the plan isn't rigged to make you gain it back, but the fact that it happens easily as a result of dieting keeps us in business. This is why weight loss is so hard. Go to change your lifestyle permanently, not just for a few months. The real problem is people think of the word diet as temporary eating less rather than making permanent changes. They'll go on a diet, drop a few pounds, come off the diet, and go right back to where they were. The extreme diets which are impossible to keep up with are the worst. Hey, you didn't eat carbs for a month. You felt like shit but lost a lot of weight. Great. Good luck keeping that up forever. A huge portion of online reviews, ratings, social media presence, etc. that you see for any given company are fake, paid for, or done by multiple accounts controlled by us. This includes a company's Glassdoor page, fake reviews about how great it is to work there so that the million negative reviews don't crush their page. I'm not saying it's every company out there, but it's been a lot of the ones I've worked for. Source: I'm copywriter. What are ethics? I surely don't know anymore. Edit. RIP my inbox. Can confirm on Glassdoor had a company-wide initiative from the higher-ups to post positive reviews of our workplace BC. It was getting hammered by negative reviews. For a while you could tell the fake positive ones BC looking at the dates they were posted. Suddenly a dozen positive reviews on the same date? Yep, all planted. It's also a dead giveaway when the pros are unbelievably positive to the point of absurdity, and the cons are either none, or my personally most hated. This job is not for everyone. You won't do well if you aren't comfortable in a fast-paced, demanding environment or some variation thereof. It's a lame attempt to brush the preceding negative reviews under the rug by saying those workers were just lazy or incompetent without actually addressing their issues, and also tells me the place is a hellish nightmare to work for. Dress codes and other rules bouncers tell you at the door are usually made up on the fly. We are just telling you all diplomatic like that you look like shit, and or that you look poor, or you look like you'd scare women away from the bar club, which basically means you'd cause the club to lose money. In Russia, there is a harsher version called face control. Do they straight up tell you that's what's happening? Like, you can't come in because I don't like your face? I'm a fossil replicator, and apparently the industry secret is the fact that we exist. So many people are blown away to learn that most fossils they see in museums are replicas. Edit. Okay, I'm heading to bed, but I'll be back in the morning to continue answering questions since there are so many. Edit 2. We haven't done much with it, but the company I'm with does have their own Reddit to share fossils we find on digs and occasional stuff we are working on. You deeptima fossils. Not a fossil. But I remember the museum where I grew up had a replica of the world's largest piece of fool's gold. Not a replica of the world's largest piece of gold. Not the actual largest piece of fool's gold. A worthless copy of a worthless piece of iron pyrite. Fool's gold. Edit. OHHMYYYY goodness, thank you for the ammo actually. Please don't do this. The two fools cancel each other out and that makes the gold real. The McDonald's ice cream machine isn't broken. The duckers were just too lazy to clean it. Or more likely, none of the people working that day know how. It's a bitch and takes like 4 hours. It shuts off and makes you clean it. So rest assured it's gonna be clean. Just not when you need it. McDonald's should have a flag that is up if the ice cream machine is working and half-mast if it's not working. That's a pretty ducking hilarious idea. Well, to be fair, do you ever stop at a Krispy Kreme if the hot and fresh sign isn't on? Not really a secret, but some wholesale nurseries will sell plants for a fraction less than public nurseries and big box retailers. Like 1 gallon of a shrub will sell for $16 at Home Depot, but at a wholesale nursery that same plant will cost like $2.06. Edit. Some wholesale nurseries are open to the public. I went to a wholesale nursery once. They had a little printout with a map, a price guide, price was based on pot size, and a little ruler so you could measure pot diameter. Was a great time. I picked up some nice plants at a great price. Former Bath & Body Works associate here. The sense they discontinue will come back with a different name and new marketing. They're just recycling the sense. I worked for the biggest mast, the company that owns Bath & Body Works and is a division of L Brand, contractor in Virginia for 8 years. There are so many fragrances that are rebranded and recolored to a different flavor. Fragrance oil is absolutely 100% the most expensive part of any shower gel or foaming soaps we made. Odds are they have hundreds of thousands of pounds of these oils in warehouses all over the US. So they just rebrand it as something else. It's not like they are going to scrap it. Also, all this shit you see on the labels of shower gels and foaming soaps that say enriched with vitamin E or contains aloe vera extract is complete absolute ducking bullshit. We made our batches in sizes of 40,000 pounds. In a 40 klb batch, you had about 2 ounces of vitamin E you would add to the batch. and barely enough aloe extracts to even get it out of the ducking cup to add it to the batch. They add the absolute bare minimum to have it on the label, as required by FDA. Foaming soaps are also about 65% water, so they make an absolute killing selling them. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.